Today, Working on Fire gets the opportunity to interview Dr. Christo Marais, who is the Chief Director of Natural Resource Programs. How are you, Doctor?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you very much
for
for
the
this
opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you for availing yourself.
My name is Katla from Cradle Base. So my question is, what is your experience on the Working on Fire program?
I look at the Working on Fire program as a noble service in a way. People that takes part in the program doesn't do it for the money, they do it for the cause. And the role of integrated veld and forest fire management is to secure, on the one hand, to secure people's livelihoods, and on the other hand, to conserve natural diversity and ecosystem processes. The third aspect, and in my view most probably the most important aspect of the Working on Fire program, is the capacity building that we do in the program. In all our programs, the Working on Fire, as you've mentioned, forms part of the natural resource management programs of the department. The Working for Water, Working on Fire, Working for Land, Working for Wetlands, and Working for Forest programs. And these programs are all about natural resource management, different aspects of natural resource management, but they're all about the same thing. And then the central thing that's aligned to all of these is the building of capacity and the giving of opportunities to young people to get into the employment market.
I'm Carmen Odenal. I'm from the Eastern Cape, and my question is, how does Working on Fire's program fit into the environmental affairs?
Department of Environmental Affairs, is one of its primary objectives is to conserve and restore biodiversity. Now, biodiversity is a very broad term, a very fancy term. What it actually means is natural diversity. It's the relationship between plants and animals and soil and land and climate, and that you all bring it back together, and there's diversity of things happening, a diversity of species. Now, to look at the Working on Fire program, if one looks at the country as a whole, there's maps that's been produced on fire risk areas. You'll see that about 60% of South Africa's landscape has fire in it on a regular basis. Not just man-made fires or human-made fires, but fires also caused by natural causes like lightning, like falling rocks, like baboons, causing sparks in the midday, etc. So it's not all fires are caused by negligence or by humans. And what we're trying to do with the Working on Fire program is to use these young people to try and get our fire regimes, our fire cycles, how often the fires come back, to put that fires, or to allow the fires to burn when it should burn, in order to optimize the natural diversity of the country. And one of the Department of Environmental Affairs' core business lines is that of the conservation of biodiversity. And then on top of that, we also add to livelihoods, to securing people's livelihoods. That's how it fits into the responsibility of the department.
I'm Skelem Jalfa from Free State. What message do you have for Working on Fire firefighters?
If I have one sentence to say, I would say, remember, you're the most important people in the program. To me, the individual beneficiaries, not you and I and the people in the room, are the most important people. The workers out there, the beneficiaries out there, are the most important people to me. They are the people that this program is all about. I can be replaced, you can be replaced, all the managers in Working on Fire can be replaced. But we cannot do the integrated veld and forest fire management if we didn't have the firefighters. So to me, the first message is this program is about you and the environment. And those two are equally important to me. That's what we're being paid for. That's what I'm being paid to do, is to ensure a healthy, well-functioning environment. And to do that, I'm also employed to employ people to ensure that well-functioning environment. So those are the two core messages. Then my next message to the firefighters is never get stuck. The sky is the limit. One should never accept your your situation as it is. You must always strive to be better. Qualify yourself 20% better than the person next to you and work 20% harder than the person next to you. Next person that's going to be promoted is you. And that message I give to all my younger colleagues. That's, you work harder and qualify yourself better. And that's the message that I would like to get through to them.
My name is Christo Marais. I'm a firefighter at Newlands Base, Western Cape. My question is, how are the wages of firefighters being determined?
The remuneration is a negotiated minimum wage. Remember, not everybody earns the same wage. As people develop in the program, they earn higher wages. The minimum wage is being determined by the ministerial determination, which is a determination negotiated between the Department of Labour, business and the unions and organised labour on an expanded public works program, the EPWP. Everybody talks about the EPWP. It's negotiated for the expanded public works program, and the wage rates are set in such a way to maximize employment. That means we must maximize the number of people that can benefit from the program without abusing them. The second thing is, in the same vein as the maximization of employment, we must also see to it that we don't necessarily compete with the private sector. That if somebody gets a better opportunity in the private sector, they must be qualified enough to get out of the expanded public works program and get into the private sector, into a better paying job. And those are the two principles of how the wages are set. So generally you would expect the wage levels of the expanded public works program for the different levels of people to be lower than what you would expect in the private sector, because we want to stimulate people to go into the private sector, sell their labour in the private sector, and not stay in the expanded public works programs for the rest of their lives. And that's why the wage rates are relatively low. It is a rate that, as I said, has been negotiated by NEDLAC, the organization or the forum between government, the Department of Labour, which represents government in that forum, organized labour and organized business.
I'm Nomatam Sangma Olga Bobo from Free State. My question is, why firefighter wages is different from farm workers?
In all industries in the country, wage rates are being negotiated between the different sectors. So in agriculture, in forestry, in textile and clothing industry, the metal workers unions, all these, they've got different wage rates across the country. And the expanded public works program, it's a program to ensure that people are being trained, as their capacity is being built to go into the agricultural sector, to go into the other sectors. So the challenge is to keep the rates fair, but also to keep it below that of the private sector in order for people to strive towards better job opportunities outside in the private sector. Well, not just the private sector, in the public sector as well. There's lots of jobs available in the public sector. That said, we can decide to put people's wages up. The problem is, if we put the wage levels in the Working on Fire program up to the level of what agriculture has agreed upon, about between 1 in 5 and 1 in 6 of our firefighters are going to lose their jobs, because there's simply only so much money in the pool. The government has got a budget. We need to work within that budget. The government isn't like a private sector institution that makes profits. We don't make profits. We work with the taxpayers' money, and we've just got a finite amount of money to create jobs. So if we then take the wages and we make that wages like the minimum wage for the agricultural sector is now 105 Rand a day, and we make our day at least 1 in 5. So if there's 6 firefighters standing in a group, those 6 firefighters are going to have to decide which one of them is going to have to be without a wage the next month. And I think we should look at it, especially the expanded public works program, from that perspective. We shouldn't be selfish. We should give other people an opportunity. If you think, 5 of your colleagues, there's 6 colleagues, and you have to decide who's going to have to go, are you going to want to make that decision?
Not at all, Doctor. It will be a very difficult decision to make.
Exactly. And we don't want to make that decision.
Absolutely
we would
not.
rather try and maximize the employment in the program and capacitate people, build their capacity in order to get better jobs in the private sector.
On behalf of Working on Fire, we would like to once again thank you for availing your time to give us this opportunity to talk to you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure, and it's an honor for me to work for the program, because I work for the program as much as firefighters out there. It's an honor to be involved in the program, one of the most successful expanded public works programs in the history of South Africa. And I think we're all very proud of it. And thank you to you all as well.
Thank you.